So morning everyone, today we are doing a video review of my Focus ST Mark IV. So as you can see here, we have the winter wheels on, the anthracite, or let's say dark grey coloured wheels. They're not as big as the other ones. In a couple of weeks I'll show you the original ones which come on the car as standard, which I have to say most people do not order. Well, they don't order the car as standard. They're usually sold, the people in the dealerships usually sell the wheels you see. They're also dark grey. They're the ones the dealers sell, the summer wheels, but they are usually dark grey, a little bit bigger than this. Ordered these for about, I think it was about 1,700, 1,800 euros. There's a full set of winter wheels. I think they're not bad. I think they're okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's a fairly big car. Recently managed to fit 4 people with a full set of luggage and a full boot already. My boot was full with that, so that was actually we're actually quite impressed with that. Got about 300 horsepower. On paper it says about 280, 420 newton meters of torque, and 0 to 100 takes about 5.7 seconds. It says on paper. Yeah, this feels very fast. I mean, it's also got a limited slip differential at the front, electronically controlled but mechanical. Limited slip diff on the front axle. So it's a very nice car indeed. I think it costs around, in England at the moment, around 30 grand in pounds. In Germany you can get it for around 30 grand in euros. It's obviously made here. They produce this in Saarlouis, in that factory there. So let's go around a little bit, or let's go inside. We can have a little look about what it's really like inside. A little butchers here. You see there's a couple of marks all over the place from where I've got in and out. But yeah, so it's got a nice little couple of inserts on the door here. Carbon look, which is not bad. You know, it's all plastic, of course. But I'd say if I compare this with just my opinion, the Audis I've tried, the door inserts are not like this. They're not as soft as this. So, with an Audi you might have some Alcantara up here or in the middle, but you don't really get the full-on soft. Well, of course it's plastic, right? Of course it's fake leather, but it's I think for a Ford, I was quite impressed with this. Anyway, so you get the ST foot mats, which are a little bit dirty. So I've had my feet on them. You get here on the dash is very nice and soft. Yeah, they've got the sync system. I think it's sync 3 in this one, and yeah, obviously no CD player, so no real need for that if you have music streaming services. Anyway, manual gearbox, you can actually get it. What they did is they released this car with, I was going to say you can actually get it with an automatic gearbox. They released this car originally with a manual, waited a couple months later, Ford did, and then yeah, and then made it also an automatic. They said it's a little bit faster, but I think there's a Getrag automatic in the, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, is my torch down there, in the automatic version. Anyway, you can see on the doors there that the speakers have a little bit of a circle in them. They have that there because if you ordered the Bang & Olufsen system, you would see that logo on there. There we go. Anyway, so fair amount of space, as I said, the back seats, blanket in there, and you can actually pull down the middle. I've never actually done this. Why not try it out right now? So let's have a look what this does. This is probably the ski hatch, isn't it? No, it's maybe not. Maybe just for 2 drinks. There we go. Yeah, it's just for 2 drinks. So nothing really special, but you can push that back up if you like. Yes, there's a good view out the back. Quite impressed. As long as the headrests are not pushed right up, you can push those up and down, which is good. And in the middle as well. Lights in the back. This is quite good. You can actually individually put these on. I think this is quite practical. And you have all round the handles up here with a hook for your coat or whatever, all round, which they didn't have on the Fiesta ST. So that's something that is different to the Fiesta. Good. What else can I show you? Yes, oh yeah, that's important. The rear view mirror, let's just get inside here. The rear view mirror is actually, it's got some masks on it. Right. The rear view mirror is actually automatically, what happens is at night, this automatically does what it's called in German automatische Abblendung. So it just basically makes it dark when it's night time, or when it sees something something very bright coming up behind. So there's not a button on the back as you usually would get. Usually you would get a button somewhere down here to make it darker, but you cannot get that as far as I know on this model, on the Focus ST Mark IV. As I said, I only know the hatchback version. Maybe it's available on the estate. Please comment below if it is. I don't know about that. But anyway, it's also up here is an SOS button. It's quite nice if you're in an emergency. So you want to just quickly whack that. Connects with your phone at the beginning of the drive. And yeah, obviously the lights here will be on there. If I turn that on, you can put them on if you want to, or just turn them manually off completely. So just to have a look at the rest, see if I can show you this. The sync system's actually quite good. It's the touch screen's quite practical. It's going to beep a lot now because I've got the door open, so let me shut that. There we go. Yeah, so it comes up with that nice logo at the beginning, and then you have basically, when it comes on in a moment, you have everything you need when you've got your phone connected, which I don't at the moment because obviously I'm filming on my phone. You know, you can connect by cable, but the Apple CarPlay is very good. It's a cable connected Apple CarPlay. So the navigation system on this in itself, which you get automatically when you order the ST, is very good in my opinion, because what it does is, you should switch over to that. It shows you when you're doing a lane change on the motorway. You have to. Excellent. When you're doing a lane change on the motorway and you have to move out or you're exiting, it shows you the exact road that you have to take. But other things, I mean, you know, via phone and you know, everything you can do as usual. You can play the audio. The audio you can play as you usually would. Let's say, for example, I wanted to have I go back home here, and I can put audio. Basically, it'll turn the radio on if I do this. Then I go to audio, down. Then I can choose whether I would like to hear from my phone. And obviously what it does there is when you click on the phone, which I was just showing here, what happens is it will automatically play what you were last hearing on your streaming service or whatever music you're playing on your phone. So that's that one. Good. What we can do now, before we look at the drive, the sound and everything like that, might be interesting to look at the engine. So I'll just open that one. You put it 2 times and put it open, similar to what BMW has. Let's have a look at that. Okay, there's no catch on this one. What you do have, there's a nice engine there. It's fairly clean actually, I'm quite impressed with that. You need to obviously put this, it doesn't have a hydraulic stand on the bonnet. Yeah, the engine's quite a nice 2.3. It's the one you also get in the Mustang, in the standard Mustang, not in the V8. So the newer Mustangs have exactly this engine. It's 2.3 litre EcoBoost, as I said, with 280 horsepower on paper, 420 newton meters of torque. And I think it's got a little bit more than 280 horsepower. The way it feels, it really does pull really well. As I said, 0 to 100 time is 5.7 seconds. What I can do later is I can do a couple of acceleration runs on this in different modes. So I'll show you those now. We just leave that open, come around the side here, and I'll show you the different modes we have. So it'll probably tell me now that the bonnet's open, but let's just turn this on. So obviously keyless start. It's telling me I should press the clutch. Door's open and the bonnet's open and there's no one sitting in there. And I have 2 little fluid in the windscreen wiper bit. And the key is running out of battery. Look at that, excellent. Anyway, so you got it's set at launch control there. Does this automatically when you stop. If you want to, you can say OK, and then the flags will appear, and then it basically just revs up to 4 again and again, just bouncing off the rev limiter, sorry, to do launch. Anyway, let's turn that launch control off. Press OK here. Then we'll turn it off again. What we have is in the menus here, we have a lot of different options. We have a lot of things I could show you, but basically, these are the interesting buttons. The mode button takes you through the different modes. Now we're starting here. We have like basically slippery, which is a little bit like a snow mode. In snow mode, the brake is very soft, so you have to press it a lot harder, and the accelerator is very nicely, is very docile. It's not a very fast car on the sail accelerator at the beginning of the pedal anyway, in the snow or slippery mode. So it's quite a nice mode to have, just for everyday driving. If you put your foot down properly, though, it will shove you very hard back into your seat, as it does with the nearly 300 horsepower. So yes, let's have a look at the other modes. We go through those again. So you have to click mode to go back into mode, drive mode select, then normal. This is a pretty, the acceleration is also pretty brutal here. It's even stronger, of course, because it's not taking the brake sharpness away, and the acceleration sharpness that you do in the snow mode I talked about just now. So that's the normal mode. Then we go through into sport. In sport mode, the exhaust starts to make a noise. That's how you turn the exhaust sound on if you want it to crackle and pop. And sport mode is indeed very fast. It gets a little bit louder as well. There is sound played in through the speaker a little bit, which gets louder when you put it in sport mode, and then even louder when you put it into track mode, which is the next mode on here. So it says racetrack down there in German. So as you can see, what this does is it turns off the traction control, which is what this little sign here is. And you can also do this if you want to manually on the buttons on the side here, so taking ESC off, but that would be just basically easier if you put it into track mode, if you really want to do that. Now, as I said, track mode makes it a lot louder. We'll listen to those in a second. Louder in the sense of the exhaust gets louder, pops more, and the sound coming through the speakers is also a little bit more exaggerated there too. One nice thing about this car is it has the speed sign recognition, which is very good. It does work. Sometimes it just, if a sign doesn't come up and you're driving into a village, it will just keep the last sign, which means that sometimes it tells you it's 100 kilometers an hour limit in a village, which is obviously not. But what this is this is driven by, let me show you, this is driven by a camera which sits in the middle. I don't know if you can see this. I'll just shade away the view of this. You see that? Hopefully you can. Just give it a little zoom in there. There we go. I think it's focused now. This is the camera which looks out the front of the car, and focusing in again. This is the camera, as the triangle I just showed you just now, which looks out the front of the car and tells you the different speed limits as shown on the speed signs. Okay, just to mention one special thing about this car is that it drinks a hell of a lot of windscreen wiper fluid, whatever you want to call it, washing up liquids with water, whatever. It drinks a hell of a lot of that. So I don't know how many litres you can put in there. Someone told me it's about 5. I was where do you store it? Obviously it's on the back as well, so if you use both of them a lot, the windscreen wipers or the windscreen washer, so you spray it out, it won't last that long. Even if you fill it up, it's gone within a couple of days if you use it a lot in the winter. Just to bear that in mind if you're thinking about buying this. What else is unusual about this car? The windows. The windows are a little bit of a special one here. They were a little bit special, I have to say. It's just my experience on the Fiesta, which is pretty much the same as this car, but with 200 horsepower and a lot smaller had before this. The windows will, depending on what kind of time of year it is, maybe sometimes how often you use them. I use the windows a lot. I like to open the windows. They will do this thing where they go up to the top and then come down again and then go up to here. If you have the situation where the auto up, like the full press, is not completely sending the window up or sending it back down, you need to hold the respective window for about the 2 or 3 seconds maximum when it's fully up, and then it will be fixed. That's just a way of sorting out the auto up function again on the windows, out of experience. So you may be asking yourself, why hasn't he opened the boot yet? Why doesn't he show us the boot? It's because it's a complete mess. There's loads of stuff in the boot, drinks and stuff, so I'm not going to do that today. But if you would like to see the boot or talk about the boot, please comment below and I will clear it out and we'll have a look at that. Anyway, I think the most interesting thing you might like to see would be the sound of the exhaust in the different mode. Let's start it. I'll just put the ignition on. I'm going to turn off the auto start stop here, which I usually do before driving off everywhere, and then it's obviously telling me everything here is beeping. I'm going to leave the window cracked and turn the engine on and let you hear it with a couple of accelerator pedal presses sound like in the different modes. So we're going to start up in normal mode. So just confirm that, drive mode normal, and turn it on. Okay, this is the sound when you rev it in normal mode. Okay, so a little bit of sound coming through the speakers. Let's press S on the steering wheel. Takes us straight into sport mode, and this is the sound of revs from inside the car in sport mode. Okay, we can now cycle through. You have to cycle through if you want to get track mode. You can cycle through here to the next mode, press it once to get into the mode selector, and then press again to get into the next mode, and now it's track. You'll hear this is a little bit more pop and crackly. Yes, that's quite nice, isn't it? Lovely. Okay, I hope they don't chuck me out of this road or call the police. So another interesting thing while we're sitting here still is the alarm, which came standard on this car when I ordered it as the ST. We have the possibility to turn the different types of alarm on when we've shut the car off. So this will only be activated when you get out and lock the car. When you've turned off the ignition, you will be asked, should we have, okay, do that. Okay, you will be asked, would you like, thank you, would you like full protection or would you like reduced protection? If you have the full protection on, okay, good example of what happens here is what will set the alarm off. If you're sitting inside and you've been for a run or something, you need to get changed afterwards and sit in the back seat or wherever, and you move in the car, obviously with full protection, it will set the alarm off completely. I don't actually know where the sensors are in here. I'll be honest. They might be in there. I don't know how they're in there. And I haven't seen any up there either. So I'm assuming that the sensors in some way are up there and they look out towards the back and whatever. Anyway, so full protection will mean that it basically, just to get that shown again for you, this one here, sorry about the focus issue, there we go. Yeah. Full protection means that it will set the alarm off when something's moving inside. So don't know if a mosquito would set it off. I've had a couple of mosquitoes here in the summer, it didn't set it off. The other option is reduced protection, which means that if you have a pet inside or someone's inside the car, ideally don't really leave anyone in the car, that's not very nice, but you know, if you've got something in the car which is going to move, then you choose the reduced protection, and it won't set the alarm off. It will only set the alarm off if at the outside of the car something hits it or moves. This alarm, it says in the handbook, is meant to detect and alarm for situations when the car tips, when it's hit or tipped in any way. So for example, if you know, if one tire is losing air or it loses air quickly, it will set the alarm off. Things like this are also included, as I understand, from Ford's handbook. A very practical thing about this car is it doesn't have an aerial. The Fiesta ST had an aerial. It's just got a little shark's fin, so that's obviously for the radio. And another interesting thing is, well, I mean, it should be standard on every car really, but you can put the wing mirrors in and out with the button on the side there. So if I turn the ignition on, I'm just talking about this button down here, you can put the mirrors in or out using that. Okay, so one thing just to mention, when you drive a car like this, which is quite powerful, maybe 300 horsepower, and you do a lot of acceleration runs, it probably is better to use a synthetic oil, fully synthetic. It is very difficult to find a fully synthetic oil for some cars. There are maybe 2 or 3 which you can, which are maybe suitable for this car. Not maybe, they are. They have the SAE, what they call it, the number, which is approved. Fully synthetic oils basically have the advantages that they don't leave as many remnants in the engine, basically, and they're a lot cleaner for the car. That's why I use fully synthetic oils in this. I'm not making doing any kind of advertisement here, because I have nothing to do with this company on there. But it's basically, this is the specification you need to follow here for this car, and this is one of the oils that you can use in it. It's a 0W30. Always have to make sure, obviously, that this number is, as they call it in German, Freigabe, is on the oil, ACEA C2, but all the details are in your handbook anyway. So you have the freedom usually to choose between, in your car, whether you use fully synthetic or, let's say, they call HT synthese, I think, on some of the oils, which are not fully synthetic. If it's 100% synthetic, as I said, it's more healthy for the engine. You can drive a lot harder with it usually. In general, maybe I can say that. This is not an advertisement for this oil. It's just to show you what you can use. As I said, there aren't many that you can use. Yes, that are usable in this particular car with this specification. Just to give you a quick look at the exhausts, they're fairly big, quite nice. They do not have a cover on them, which I quite like. They're going to be a little bit hot now because I've been pressing the accelerator quite a lot. Yeah, so they're fairly large, as you can see, and they look a little bit rally-like. You don't really see them. They're not really, because they're not silver, they don't really stick out. But I quite like them, with the double exhaust set up here. Just moving back a little bit so you can see this. I'm a fan of that. Very subtle, with the black as well, fits in quite nicely. And yeah, the lights, so I quite like those. They're not LED lights. I don't personally need LED lights, but the fog lights are LED. This is what the outline looks like. As you can see, you have the outline on here without turning any lights on. That will always be on. I find that quite nice. It's enough for me. I don't need any LED lights in the middle, but obviously it's a matter of taste. And as I said, these are the fog lights down here, which turn on when you turn the steering wheel in a different direction. Parking sensors you have all round, but just not a camera in this one. Didn't order the camera. So just to quickly say a couple more words about the lights. As is standard, there's also standard in the Fiesta ST, if you want to put the fog lights on here, you have to have the headlights turned on specifically. I always have it on automatic, so that when you go through a tunnel, it will put the headlights on automatically. And these are the side lights, and this is just off completely if you want to just have that outline very lightly, as I showed just now. But completely turning the lights off, so we've got them on 0, so not on at the moment. As you can see, despite that fact, the outline is certainly on, so you can never turn that off, which I find a good thing. It's a safety feature. So turning this back to automatic, so there's the side lights, headlights specifically on all the time, and automatic. That will obviously mean that it will see how dark it is and just turn on the headlights if you need them, but as I said, the outline of the lights will always be on. So nice Recaro seats, very soft. You can sit in those for a good, let's say, 8 hours. If you're just in the car and don't have any brakes, probably you can do about 6 hours in those, but they're very comfortable seats. Had them in the Fiesta ST as well, not exactly the same ones, had them without leather in there, but yeah, they are definitely one of the most comfortable seats that I've tried. Just my personal taste is, I'll show you the back ones as well, my personal taste is that these seats are more comfortable than BMW seats. I didn't have the leather ones in BMW, I just had the standard ones on a 1 Series, which is a similar size car. This was a good few years ago, probably about 5 years ago. They weren't as comfortable as these seats in here. They're lined with leather, but that's got nothing to do with it. They're just very, in my opinion, very comfortable seats that you can sit in for a very long time if you like. Yes, anyway, So not electrically adjustable on the side. Move them up. On the front you have this little rail down here which you can use to push them back and forth. Standard as on any car, I believe. You know, just rotate that to put the seat rest back and forward here on the side, and yeah, that's it. So another nice feature is if you've forgotten to shut the windows and you've got your key in your hand, you can just hold the lock button and, just to focus in on the car again, get all of the windows shut by holding it for 3 seconds. So hold it until they're completely shut. There we go. That's just quite a nice feature. Regarding locking of the car, you can also lock it via your phone if you have the app if you have the Ford app on your phone, which is very practical. For example, if you're about to go to sleep and you're like, have I locked my car? I can't remember. Yes, you can just hold the lock button in the app and it will lock it for you wherever you are in the world, which is quite nice. Okay, so what you're now going to see is me turning on the car, turning on the ignition, going through normal, sport and then track mode on the exhaust. Okay, so those were the 3 modes. First normal, second sport, third track. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to accelerate away in track mode. So let's do 0 to 100 in sport mode. Obviously not using launch control, because that would just make the tyres spin. So just to give you a little taste of what it sounds like in sport mode in a tunnel, if I press the accelerator quite a bit. So this is another 0 to 60 in sport mode without launch control. So I hope you liked that today. This is the car from another angle, a little bit more sun on it at the back. It look quite nice from this side. Yeah, let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see about this car, or maybe, you know, on the Cayman as well, which I'll be filming again in the next couple of days, or maybe another Porsche, let's see. And yeah, just comment below, let me know. Have a good day.